Two people can grow up in the same city, go to the same kind of school, and even earn the same salary at 25. 20 years later, one of them is financially free. The other is still living paycheck to paycheck, wondering where it all went. Same starting point, completely different outcome. So what actually changed? It's not intelligence. It's not effort. Both of them worked hard. The real difference happened earlier than that and quieter than that. It happened in childhood, in 100 small moments neither of them remember clearly, when they were absorbing lessons about money without even realizing they were learning anything at all. Think about it like this. Nobody teaches a 5-year-old how to feel about money the way they teach them how to read. There's no lesson. But kids are always watching. They watch a parent tense up every time a bill arrives. They watch an aunt say, "We're not the kind of people who ask for raises." They watch money get treated like a source of stress or shame or silence. And without anyone meaning to, a child absorbs a rule book for how they're supposed to relate to money for the rest of their life. Psychologists call this your money mindset. And here's the uncomfortable part. Most people are still following that childhood rulebook well into their 40s without ever realizing they never actually chose it. That's the real reason some people stay broke for 20 years while others turn things around in 5. It's not the economy. It's not their job title. It's the invisible rulebook running quietly in the background every time they make a decision about money. Here are 10 signs that rulebook might be working against you. Sign 1, you feel guilty when good things happen financially. Picture this. You get a bonus at work, and instead of feeling excited, your first thought is, I should give some of this away, or I don't really deserve this. That's not generosity talking. That's an old belief that having more than others makes you a bad person. So you find quiet ways to make sure you never get too far ahead, because staying level with everyone else feels safer than standing out. Maybe you even downplay the bonus when a friend asks, saying it wasn't really that much, just to avoid the discomfort of being seen as doing well. Sign 2. Money burns a hole in your pocket the second you have it. You get paid on Friday, and by Sunday night, most of it is gone on things you can't even fully remember buying. This isn't really about self-control. If growing up felt unpredictable, spending money immediately is your brain's way of getting a guaranteed reward right now, instead of gambling on a future that never felt reliable in the first place. It's the same reason a kid who's used to food disappearing will eat quickly, even when there's plenty on the table. Sign 3. You shrink your own goals before anyone else gets the chance to. Someone asks what you want out of your career, and you say something small and safe, even though you actually want something much bigger. Saying the big goal out loud feels like tempting fate, or worse, feels greedy. So you round yourself down, on purpose, before anyone can accuse you of wanting too much. Sign 4. Talking about money with your partner, your family, or your boss makes your stomach drop. Not because you're bad at math, because somewhere back in childhood, money conversations meant raised voices or a parent going quiet for the rest of the night. Your body learned that money talk equals danger. So now, even a simple conversation about a raise feels like walking into a fight, even when nobody's fighting. Sign 5. Right when things start going well, something always seems to fall apart. You finally raise your prices, and your biggest client disappears the same week. You finally save up a real cushion, and the car breaks down. It feels like the universe has bad timing. It doesn't. Your comfort zone has a financial ceiling, and your own habits, in small, invisible ways, tend to pull you right back under it. It's a bit like a thermostat set to keep the room at one temperature. Every time things heat up past what feels normal, something quietly cools it back down. Sign 6. You think rich people are simply built different, not just luckier. Different, like they were handed a personality you weren't given. This belief feels comforting, because if wealth requires being a totally different kind of person, then it was never really your job to build it in the first place. It quietly lets you off the hook, at the cost of ever actually trying. It's easier to say, that's just not who I am, than to sit with the possibility that it could be, with enough small changes over time. Sign 7. Extra money in your account makes you nervous instead of relieved. Most people imagine relief when they picture a healthy bank balance. But if you grew up around instability, extra money can feel like a problem waiting to happen. So you spend it fast, lend it out, or throw it at something impulsive, just so it stops sitting there making you uneasy.
Sign 8. You only trust money that came from struggle. If money comes easily, some part of you assumes something's wrong with it. Or with you. You were taught somewhere along the way that money is supposed to hurt a little on the way in. So the easier path stays untrusted, even when it's sitting right in front of you.
Sign 9. You avoid your own bank app like it's going to bite you. You know the feeling. The little red notification sits there for days. You don't open it. Not because you don't care about your money, but because looking at the number feels like looking directly at a part of yourself you're not ready to face yet. It's the financial version of avoiding a scale after a hard few months, not because the number would change anything, but because seeing it feels heavier than not knowing. Sign 10. You imagine a wealthier version of yourself is somehow colder or less like you. You picture success making you distant from the people you love, less down to earth, a little unrecognizable. Maybe you picture becoming the kind of person who forgets where they came from or stops answering calls from old friends. So a part of you keeps success just out of reach, not out of laziness, but to protect the person you already know how to be. If several of these hit close to home, here's the thing to actually take away from this. None of this makes you lazy, undisciplined, or bad with money. It makes you human, shaped by an environment you didn't choose, absorbing lessons nobody ever sat you down to explain. The rulebook was handed to you. You didn't write it.
But here's the good news. Rulebooks that were learned can be unlearned. Not overnight and not with one lucky break. It starts the moment you notice the old pattern showing up in real time. And you pause just long enough to ask, is this actually true? Or is this just familiar? That one pause is where the whole thing starts to change. The people who turn things around in 5 years aren't smarter than the people who stay stuck for 20. They just stopped mistaking an old inherited belief for a permanent fact about who they are. And now that you can see the pattern clearly, you get to do the same thing, starting with your very next decision.